James didn't notice it at first. Retirement still felt peaceful. Until one afternoon, he realized he had gone almost an entire week without having a real conversation with anyone. Not counting Maggie. Not counting the cashier at the grocery store. Not counting television voices filling the living room. A real conversation. The kind where someone actually looks at you, listens for a minute, remembers you exist. That realization followed him home. The strange thing was, his life still looked comfortable from the outside. Coffee every morning, a quiet house, no financial stress, no alarms, no exhausting schedules anymore. But little by little, his world had started shrinking. Fewer places to go, fewer familiar faces, fewer unexpected conversations. Some mornings, James stayed in sweatpants until noon without realizing it. One afternoon, he stood at the mailbox long after checking it, just holding a few advertisements and a utility bill in his hands. The neighborhood was completely still. A delivery truck passed slowly. Somewhere far away, a lawnmower hummed. Wind moved softly through nearby trees. James stayed there another moment anyway, not because he was expecting more mail. He just wasn't ready to walk back into the quiet house yet. Some afternoons, James drove slowly through neighborhoods he used to rush past for years. Past little parks, elementary schools, rows of suburban houses. Not because he needed to go anywhere. He just missed the feeling of being part of movement. At red lights, he watched people unloading groceries, parents helping children from car seats, teenagers laughing near sidewalks. Tiny, ordinary moments. But lately, they felt strangely far away from him. One evening, James walked past a backyard barbecue a few streets from home. Music drifted softly across the neighborhood. Someone laughed loudly near the grill. Paper plates, string lights, voices overlapping into each other. James slowed down for a second, just long enough to watch everyone gathered together. Then quietly kept walking. That moment stayed with him all night. Before retirement, life constantly pulled him outward. Co-workers, appointments, lunch breaks, errands, conversations that happened naturally because people crossed paths all day long. Now, entire afternoons passed without anyone saying his name. One Thursday morning, James drove to the hardware store to buy birdseed he didn't really need yet. He wandered slowly through the aisles. Garden tools, extension cords, paint supplies. Not shopping exactly, just lingering. Near the checkout, an older employee smiled at him, asked how his week was going. Normally, James would have answered quickly and moved on. But this time, he stopped. Actually talked for a minute. About backyard birds, about the strange weather lately, about how crowded the store used to feel years ago. Nothing important. But afterward, James sat in the truck for a while before starting the engine. Because somehow, that tiny conversation made the entire day feel less empty. A few days later, James called an old co-worker he hadn't spoken to in months. The phone rang, then voicemail answered. James almost left a message, but after a few quiet seconds, he simply hung up. And strangely, that hurt more than he expected. I think this happens quietly to a lot of people after retirement. People slowly stop going places, stop seeing people. And after a while, the world starts feeling smaller. Not dramatically, quietly. One skipped invitation at a time. One canceled lunch. One extra afternoon spent inside. One rainy afternoon, Maggie found him sitting silently in the living room. The television was on mute. James wasn't really watching it. "You okay?" she asked softly. James nodded automatically. Then, after a long pause, he quietly admitted something. I didn't even realize how much smaller my life had become. Maggie didn't rush to answer. She simply sat beside him. Rain tapped softly against the windows. The muted television flickered faintly across the walls. And honestly, that quiet moment probably helped more than advice would have. After that, James started changing small things, nothing dramatic. He walked farther through the neighborhood, stopped to talk with people walking dogs, stayed a little longer after church coffee mornings, called old friends first instead of waiting for the phone to ring. One evening, a neighbor waved while watering flowers near the sidewalk. Normally, James would have waved back and kept walking. But this time, he stopped for a minute, talked about the heat, the dry grass, how quickly summers seemed to pass now. It was an important conversation. But afterward, the neighborhood felt a little less distant. One Saturday morning, he went to his grandson's baseball game. Cold metal bleachers, parents drinking coffee from paper cups, kids laughing near the dugout fence. James sat quietly watching the field, watching his grandson glance toward the stands after every good play. And sitting there beside the field, James realized how long it had been since he truly felt part of something again. Not because he was busy, not because he suddenly found some huge purpose, simply because he showed up. Tomorrow morning, James will probably still drink coffee in the same kitchen chair. The neighborhood will still feel quiet. The mailbox may still be empty. But maybe, little by little, the world will start feeling larger again.